As you can see, in this quiet wilderness, there is a border town, but now there are ruins and destroyed buildings everywhere. Due to being far from modern cities, lacking medical and military facilities, once infected are discovered, this place will fall within a few days. The first thing I need to do is to gather the resources around me and then search for survivors here. But the first day was not going well. I spent a lot of time getting familiar with the surroundings. As the sun set, I only managed to make 2 tools for self-defense. As the light dimmed, they became more active. It was terrifying. I was forced to run into a house downhill, despite a corpse next to it. It was obviously a bunker that had been used by someone. I patched up the holes here, and the next time was just praying they wouldn't come in. The good news is, at this stage, they are clumsy. Although they still won't burn during the day, they can only be physically removed. After the panic, I started to calm down and think about how to survive. There is a bunker box next to it, full of bones and a farewell letter, reminding me once again to find enough food and weapons. Rain is not a good sign, making this town even more lifeless. However, rummaging through the chests left here can indeed find usable supplies, and I want to speed up the collection here. But I know that only clear sunny days are relatively safe, and in reality, the available time is very, very limited. As the blood moon approaches, I hide in a place resembling an underground prison, where the prisoners nearby have long turned into walking dead, listening to the howls surrounding my ears. I have no idea what the situation is on the ground. Over the past few days, I have gradually adapted to the rhythm here and explored almost everything here. The situation is worse than I thought. The fortress against the tide, the temporary relief station, and the damaged bridges all indicate that there are no survivors here. So I follow the road to the next town, hoping to find hope there. Feels like I came to the wrong place. This town is larger, with concentrated resource points, a church, and more sturdy defense facilities, while also leaving behind a large number of weapons and equipment. The only downside is that it is also fallen. The blood moon strikes again, and I build a temporary defense point. The endless tide of corpses comes from all directions, and at this moment, I am the delicious food in their eyes. I use lava to resist the first wave of attacks, but they are endless. After daybreak, I returned to the refuge where I stayed on the first day along the original path. There is a railway here leading to an unknown direction, filled with soil and a large number of zombies. So I went around from the mountain, and in the distance, there seems to be a temporary base. There may be a lot of modern equipment here, although it looks luxurious on the surface, but I have to admit that it gives me more of a sense of despair. If I don't want to become like them, I must reset the defense line before nightfall. I fenced this place off with fences, and we are temporarily safe. The zombies are only separated from me by a fence, but my tension, which has been taut for days, has never been so relaxed. I think this camp can last for a while before they mutate completely. After a few days of maintenance, I cleared most of the non-functional obstacles and planted some vegetables here. Finally, it looks like a safe shelter. A curious discovery is that there are still many firearms in the weapon box on the ground. Of course, they can only be used as toys. The dream of using these weapons to massacre zombies ends with no bullets. With this place as a base, I started to collect supplies from many places. At the westernmost end, I found a place similar to a research institute, made of pristine quartz, which stands out in this wasteland. The floor on the second floor and every room were covered with bloodstains. On the rooftop helipad, I found a large amount of leftover potions. It seems that the researchers here have already evacuated, but it seems that some people didn't escape successfully. Just then, I encountered a mutated infected person I had never seen before, with 4 legs crawling on the ground, which made me very uneasy. Honestly, in the swamp next to our shelter, I have also encountered similar creatures. I dare not imagine what the zombies will evolve into in the end. Next to the research institute is a garage. It's very sketchy here, so we should explore quickly and head back. Luckily, there were 3 grenades in the security room at the entrance, so the harvest this time is still quite rich. Night quickly fell, and I had to temporarily hide on the second floor of the garage, surrounded by security nets. At this stage, it is a relatively safe place. After waiting for a night, I attracted a large wave of infected individuals to test the power of the grenades. This is modern technology. Although there are no human figures in the wilderness, there are many wild animals. The soil here seems to lack nutritional elements, as the vegetables I planted have not fully grown for several days. So hunting may be the best choice for obtaining food in the early stages. But these flocks of sheep actually gathered together. Never expected the virus's influence has permeated into every creature. Under the joy, our temporary shelter now looks vulnerable. So on the 20th day, I started to look for a suitable place to carry out the next plan. Here, there are 3 lakes, with ample water resources for farming, and the terrain is relatively flat. That's right, I am ready to build a complete base. And my first step is to clear the excess terrain here, then dig out a complete interception ditch. This may take me a lot of time, but if I want to continue living, the speed of base construction must exceed the speed of the zombies' mutations. This is my first line of defense. It looks pretty good, and I have transferred all the supplies. Next, I plan to surround this place with a wall, and then open up a mine to mine ores and extract stones. Very lucky, I found a large amount of lava underground. Although we can't gain experience using this method, it is indeed a good choice when facing a large number of zombies. Just setting up this first line of defense took me quite a few days. During this time, I basically went out during the day to explore a bit, collect wood and other resources, and then build defensive structures. I also cultivated a vegetable garden by the lake, living a relatively leisurely life until I discovered their first batch of mutations. How can I show my face like this? I clearly filled this place with torches. Theoretically, infected individuals shouldn't appear, but at night I quickly got the answer. They seem to ignore torches and just spawn anyway. If this place remains overrun in the future, I really have no other way out. Their mutations remind me that I must accelerate our pace. On the 50th day, I dug out the second defensive line, which is wide and deep, and covered the base with a layer of half bricks that won't spawn monsters, while also raising the outer wall. Now we only have one way out to the outside world, and in the middle of this path is another portal. If the zombies rush in, they will go straight to the nether. As for the second defensive line, I plan to make it a lava wall. For this, I need to first create a platform to place the lava, going back and forth underground to collect the lava. If it weren't for facing the zombies, this kind of defense facility would only exist in my fantasies. But now, for the sake of survival, I have actually made it a reality. But now that we are temporarily safe, we don't even have a decent house. This place feels more like another kind of prison filled with steel and concrete. It's time to decorate this area, so that at least before reaching day 100, we don't become as numb as the zombies. Welcome to my small town, or more accurately, the shelter in the apocalypse. This is my little house, which feels more like it was assembled from scraps picked up from all directions. There is a garden at the entrance with wheat, potatoes, and carrots. Next to it is a helipad with miscellaneous items, and a fountain spraying hot spring water. Compared to the noisy chaos outside, my sanctuary is truly like a paradise. But after so long without going outside, their speed seems to have become faster, and there are many new mutant variants that I have never seen before. While exploring outside, I found some surveillance cameras, which are important devices to stay in touch with the outside world and observe the zombies. And I made a simple rail placer, planning to lay down some more rails at a higher level, making it easier for us to observe the outside world. Now time has unknowingly reached the 70th day. I need to quickly set up the cameras around the perimeter. I have installed a camera in each of the 4 directions, so that we can see the situation around us from the safety house. And we can also sit in the minecart, patrol at a high place, and enjoy the night breeze. Tonight is a special night. The zombies have learned how to use blocks. I wonder if my sanctuary can hold out. I'm not sure how they got in, but one thing I do know is that I had to chop it nearly 20 times to clear it out. There are many blocks they built around the lava wall, and outside the wall is a mess they have devoured. Then I found out they dug up from underground. In just over 80 days, they crossed the lava wall. After a simple repair, there is not enough time left for me to dig out the shelter underground and place lava. So I need to come up with an aerial escape plan. I built 2 platforms in the sky, with the lower one containing some quicksand to slow down the zombies if they destroy it. The upper one contains my final escape resources. Even in the sky, I can still use surveillance cameras to monitor the situation. If the base falls, this will be my final shot. In addition, there is a river to the northwest. Although far from me, I have prepared a lot of rails. But up to now, I haven't had much psychological pressure. But there is something quite exaggerated. In the sky, they can sense me and come up with blocks. If the zombies attack from above, I can only sit in a minecart and jump into the river to escape. I think I'm ready. The road to survival is covered by clouds, looking blurry, but the direction in my heart is clear. To resist this group of inhuman zombies, I can only rely on wisdom. Next is to wait for the 99th day, then welcome their final wave of attack. Today's the last day. My shelter seems to have long become their playground. I think I can hold on a little longer down there, the last day. It is destined to be a blood moon, and they will also face their strongest evolution, but it seems they have already broken through the floor of the house and started building blocks towards me. The worst has come. I don't know how long I can hold on. The sun is about to rise, but they are standing on my escape railway. It's time to make a choice. Once failed, it's all over. The zombies enter the clouds, gradually becoming blurry like a dream. I return to my shelter along the river. When I saw this scene, my first reaction was that it was too shocking. But what's even more shocking is that I survived this onslaught.